The city's streets were quieter than usual tonight, a sharp contrast to the normal hum of life. Sophia felt a creeping sense of unease inside a high-rise apartment, though she couldn't put her finger on why. She had just finished a late-night project, the kind that kept her awake for longer than she intended. As the clock struck midnight, she leaned back in her chair, stretching out her tired muscles. But before she could relax, there was a knock at the door. Soft, almost hesitant, but distinct enough to raise her curiosity. Who could it be at this hour? Sophia rose slowly, heart rate quickening for reasons she didn't yet understand. "Who's there?" she called out. A voice, deep and calm, came through the door. "Sophia, it's me. Open up, please. I need your help." It was familiar, but there was an edge to it she couldn't place. Her fingers hesitated over the doorknob. "Who's there?" she repeated, now more uncertain. The voice came again, almost pleading this time. "Sophia, please. It's important. I don't have much time." Her instinct screamed at her to turn away, to ignore it, but for some reason, she felt a pull she couldn't resist. She opened the door. And then everything went dark. Sophia struggled to comprehend what was happening as she felt two sets of hands grab her roughly. Her vision was blurry, and a wave of dizziness hit her. Before she could even scream, something cold and wet was pressed against her face. The world around her began to spin, her limbs grew heavy, and she felt herself slipping into unconsciousness. The last thing she heard before everything went black was the faint buzz of her phone. Vibrating on the table, its screen lighting up with an unknown number. When Sophia woke, it was in a place that didn't feel real. She was in a dimly lit room, her hands bound to a chair. The walls were bare concrete, the air thick and musty. She groggily looked around, trying to make sense of her surroundings. Her head throbbed, but there was no time to waste on pain. Suddenly, a door creaked open, and a figure stepped inside. A tall man, wearing a black suit, his face hidden behind a mask. His eyes were cold, unfeeling, but there was something unnervingly calculating about him. "So, you're awake," he said, his voice smooth but laced with menace. "Good. We've got a lot to talk about." Sophia tried to speak, but her mouth felt dry. "What do you want from me?" she managed to croak. The man smirked. "You're important to us, Sophia. You've been chosen for a very specific reason, though I doubt you even know why yet. But don't worry," he added, "you'll figure it out soon enough." Meanwhile, inside the building, Sophia's phone buzzed again. A message. A strange number. "They have you, don't they? I know where you are. Listen carefully, Sophia. You don't have much time. They'll be back soon. You need to escape." Her mind raced as she processed the cryptic message. Who was this? How did they know where she was? Was it someone trying to help her lead her into more danger? Her chance came sooner than she expected. The door creaked open, but this time, it wasn't the tall man in the suit. A woman slipped inside, moving silently like a shadow. Her eyes were fierce with determination as she quickly cut the ropes binding Sophia's hands. "We don't have much time," the woman whispered urgently. "We have to go, now." Sophia was stunned, but followed instinctively, not fully understanding what was happening. "Who are you?" she whispered back, her voice trembling. "My name's Lara," the woman replied, pulling her toward the exit. "I'm here to get you out of here. And trust me, you don't want to stick around to find out who's behind all this." The two women moved swiftly through the buildings, corridors, ducking behind walls and avoiding patrols. Lara seemed to know exactly where she was going, and Sophia was thankful for it. Her mind was still reeling, trying to process everything that had happened. Why had she been kidnapped? And who was this mysterious group that wanted her? But there was no time for questions. As they neared the building's exit, an alarm suddenly blared, red lights flashing overhead. Guards appeared, shouting as they began to rush toward them. "Run," Lara commanded, grabbing Sophia's hand and pulling her into a sprint. The sound of heavy boots on the ground echoed behind them as the guards closed in. Sophia's heart raced as they burst through a back door and into the alleyway. They could hear the shouts of the guards just a few steps behind them, but Lara was leading them toward a car waiting in the shadows. The car sped down the narrow alley, the screech of tires on pavement mingling with the sound of sirens. Lara glanced over at Sophia, her expression grim. "This isn't over. They won't stop coming for you." As they raced through the streets, Sophia's phone buzzed again. A new message. "It's too late. They're watching you right now. The real game has just begun." Sophia's breath caught in her throat. She had no idea who was behind this, but it was clear they weren't just trying to kidnap her. They wanted something far more dangerous. The chase continued, but Sophia couldn't ignore the gnawing feeling in her gut. She had to understand what was happening. Why her? What was it that they wanted so badly? In a quiet corner of the safe house, Lara finally sat down beside Sophia, her face weary but determined. "There's something you need to know," she said quietly. "The people who took you, they've been watching you for a long time. They believe you know something. Something that could bring their entire operation down." Sophia's mind raced. "But I don't know anything. I'm just an ordinary person." Lara shook her head. "No, you're not. You were chosen, Sophia. And the longer you stay in the dark, the more dangerous this becomes for everyone involved. As the story unfolds, Sophia must navigate a world filled with betrayal, danger, and mystery. But the truth is more twisted than she could ever imagine, and soon, she'll learn that the real enemy might be someone she never expected.